Hello, welcome to Conversations with Yemi Abimbo Davids, that platform where we discuss practical issues that will be of benefit to us all. We share a lot of wisdom that will benefit us all.
Conversations.
We want to talk about conflict resolution in such a way that builds. There's a way you try to resolve conflict in relationships and you tear each other apart. And at the end of the day, maybe the conflict was resolved, but the marriage has been dissolved. Our relationship had scattered. But as a healthy way of resolving conflicts, we are still work in progress. But God has helped us, not just maritally, but even relating with people. We have ministry friends, we have pastors, we have friends, we have family members, siblings that we have to resolve things one way or the other. And I would feel having such a conversation would help us to be better because there will always be that time when, beyond the word conflict, like disagreements or maybe misunderstandings. And if we do not know how to handle such moments, it can be hijacked by strange spirits to create more problems. But it doesn't have to be like that. Let's welcome Bimbo David.
Okay, I think the first thing I would say is some people are taken aback when it comes to conflicts because they feel there shouldn't even be conflict, especially with marriage or deep, close relationships. With that mentality of, I'm my husband, my wife, we're in love, we love each other. Why should there be conflict? So a lot of people get, that first shocker for them that but I thought we know each other, I thought we love each other, why are we even fighting, or why are we having disagreement? So that's where it starts from for some people, where because they're not prepared enough, they feel. I had those mindsets at earlier years of our marriage where I felt, I love my husband, we should get along, there shouldn't be any issues between us. But then I realized that first of all, having a disagreement with someone, your spouse or somebody, doesn't mean that you're bad or they're bad. It just shows differences, first of all, differences in personality, differences in background, differences in experience, differences in thoughts, in perspectives. That's the first place where it's okay. So don't get too. I know that sometimes, like what we're focused on today is that learning to resolve conflicts without it tearing people apart. But first of all, understand that it's okay. You can have a healthy conflict resolution process.
Doesn't have to be
Yes.
military style.
You can even disagree. It's okay to disagree, but know that your disagreement should lead to getting to know the person better, understanding people, bonding better. Sometimes you disagree and you just leave it at that, but you can disagree, like we say, disagree to agree or something. You don't have to disagree and destroy yourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, but from our experience and my experience as a leader, one major thing that I would want to speak to is how do you handle when you are wrong? I think it's a major question you must answer. If you can deal with that, a lot of things will be resolved. A lot. People are afraid of being wrong when it looks like he is wrong or she's wrong. The way you interpret it.
It's called defensive.
Yeah. So when you're afraid of being wrong or the way you interpret being wrong.
Yeah.
So somehow you want to appear like I'm never wrong. Like if you are wrong, you are not a human being, or you're falling short as a human being, as a man. How you interpret being wrong matters a lot. I've seen some men just that their child or their spouse is helping them see that they are wrong, everything scatters because of the way they interpret it. They don't want to ever be wrong. In fact, rather than accepting that they are wrong, they now start pointing out your own wrongs. Almost like, okay, I'm wrong once, you are wrong twice. And it's immaturity. It's how you interpret when you are wrong. When you are wrong doesn't mean you have failed. It doesn't mean you are less of a woman or less of a man. That is at the core of it, because conflict most of the time comes through, okay, different perspective, or someone just goes wrong somewhere and the other party tries to help you. Yeah, maybe not in the best of ways at times, that you are wrong. How do you interpret being wrong? Do you see it as I failed completely? No. Do you see it as it's beneath me to fail? I'm wiser than that. If that is your mindset, well, pride is there, and that's a problem. Conflicts will not be resolved. Because if you don't resolve that, something happens. It's either you are always defensive because you don't like being wrong. Being wrong to you means like, I have failed as a man, I have failed as a human being. So you become defensive. Or if you feel it's beneath you, you are smarter than that, they are not understanding you, then you will not readily apologize because you feel I'm not wrong. So you'll be explaining away your wrongs, and then you keep wronging things, and then it's a recipe for a disastrous relationship. Not just in marriage. It can be a boss. It can be a colleague at work. They are never wrong. When you try to bring it out, they will explain, and people have learned to just leave them alone. But it's easier at work to just leave you alone. But when it comes to marriage, it's a different ball game entirely. So I just want us to be aware, okay, how do I see when I'm wrong? How do I interpret it? Do I see it as, I'm more educated than that? I'm wiser than that. It can't be me. Or you see it as, no.
So, can I just say something? I think a lot of people, their reality is unconscious because it's something they picked from childhood. They saw it as, you know what, this is how relationships are. Where, especially in Africa, this part of our world, where the father or the husband or the male figure, the boss, is the one that has the final say or the more right say in that sense. So they pick it up and unconsciously it plays out in their adult life. The same thing with even conflict, real conflict, where you see children that are having conflicts with one another, and somebody is throwing it, not even just one another. So the parent says something to a child, and the child throws a tantrum, because that's a form of conflict, right? The way children even deal with conflict, something doesn't go right, or you take something from them and they don't like it, and the way they express themselves in that conflict will play out in adulthood. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So it's a lot of this expressions has to do with childhood, where sometimes it's just unconscious. They just show it unconsciously, it's there, and they just pick it up. But that's why we are saying that the awareness that human beings will have disagreements.
If there's anything we are doing on conversations, is to also create awareness generally. Yeah. Sometimes they're not just aware. Some of the arguments that people have so lengthy, and a genuine apology would have shortened it, and the way forward have been discussed. But sometimes it's so lengthy because somebody believes that, I'm not wrong, say. And it's because he is afraid to be wrong. He feels that if he's wrong, it's like shedding tears. Some of our men believe that when you cry as a man, you are not a
or a parent apologizing to their child.
Oh.
We didn't grow up like that in that sense. Yeah. So you don't even think it's that you're showing your child that as an adult,
you can never be wrong.
An adult cannot be wrong. Even if they are wrong, we package it, and we tell we have a way of telling the child, instead of telling the child that I was wrong, I'm sorry.
So, we have such upbringing issues. We have so many things we grew up with, and unfortunately, those things show up in our relationships.
Yeah.
There are different sides to it. There's a side of people can have a different perspective to things.
Yes.
I use the example of mathematics. 2 plus 3 equals to 5.
3 plus 2.
3 plus 2 equals to 5.
4 plus
5 plus 0 equals to 5. Now, 7 minus 2 equals to 5. So that alone helps your thinking that, okay, that I'm seeing things from this perspective, it's not the only perspective. Your
Yeah.
wife can have a different
Yes.
perspective.
Yes.
Your child can,
Absolutely.
as long as it's not contradicting a major life's principle.
Yeah.
Do you know 10 minus 5 equals to 5? So you are adding 3 plus 2 equals to 5, 1 plus 4. And somebody comes and says, okay, let's even subtract. You say, no, we must always be adding. No, no. So that's the first thing, perspective. Then number 2 is, even when people are wrong, let's not wrong them. As a man, I think we are more culpable. When something is wrong, there's a way you express the person's wrong that you have made the person feel like a complete failure. With our children, even when they have any challenge with any subject, you try to zero in on that subject. It doesn't mean the child is a failure. We didn't grow up like that, but we are learning new skills and we have to learn it. Every generation must be better than the previous. So, okay, the child has a challenge with mathematics. The problem is mathematics. Okay, how do we tackle mathematics? Okay, you need to spend extra time with mathematics. I'm going to reduce your TV time because of mathematics. That's mathematics. But it doesn't change you as my son or daughter. I love you. And then if possible, add that I love the way you are doing well in English, in sciences, and other things. That's some validation. But we need to bring that also up to our day-to-day relationships with our spouses. If an area has a challenge, zero in on that area. Don't make the man look like he's a failure as a man, or make your wife feel she's a failure. When we do that, it helps us to resolve. Because sometimes it's such approach that makes the other person bring out the nuclear missile. Because you brought out ballistic missile over a banger issue. What's banger? A knockout. Something that's supposed to be like a knockout. Sorry, what's knockout? Knockout. Fire, like a firework issue. You now brought a ballistic missile. The person will bring out nuclear weapon to defend himself or herself. So that's why the thing escalates. Like something happens, you now come out with a armor tank. I thought at most it should be like a knock on the head. But now you came out with armor tank. It's too heavy for the person. So unconsciously, the person too can come out with ballistic missile. So I think that understanding will help us a lot. So that when people are wrong, how we help them see where they are wrong, perhaps will encourage understanding. Of course, there are cases where no matter how the person zeroes it, somebody is still maybe reacting. So that's why I said, when you are wrong, it doesn't mean you are wrong. When you are wrong over a matter, doesn't mean you are. And sometimes it's our interpretation. Somebody says, this you've not done this well. But the person is hearing like, I've not done everything well. You now begin to talk. You just say you didn't do this thing well. Just take that side and let it be. Okay, so I think that awareness will help a lot.